Hello and herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the wXw review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, joined once again by Mike Kilby. And Mike, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm glad that I've managed to shake off the German accent from the last episode. But yeah, no, it was very, very good.
Yeah, it's a bit nice change having a different point of view on, and got some pretty good feedback about Domi, so hopefully we can get him back on, some point in the future, maybe after Carat, who knows. But yeah, we're pretty quick turnaround for us for a change. wXw's first big show of the year this past Saturday for Turbine Hall, Back to the Roots. Came in for a very stacked card, things like 9 matches, and I would say, just early thoughts, a very strong start to 2025 for wXw. Topped off with, and we'll get into it, the Käfigschlacht, match with, speaking to some people as the show's going on who don't really keep up with wXw. It turned to Leah Bloom from a guy who, he's just getting the main event as a placeholder kind of thing to, he's the guy now, I guess, and we've really underscored all that. But we'll get to the main event. Of course, we're going to do the usual, going through every match on the card, but pre-show we had Fight Forever Bobby Guns beating Lawrence Roman, and talking about making statements, Mike, for the pre-show match. This
Beating
was
the former champion,
but 2 former champions, last year's Carat winner. Hey, and a lot of companies should be using these pre-shows to hey, this is some big stuff you can see going in. And was Tony Storm and Melanie Gray from Back to Roots a few years earlier we had on before the pre-show match. So that's one thing I do like them doing, putting in like a historical blast from the past pre-show and interval, which gets you going in from the start. But yeah, for the 2025 pre-show, this was, I guess, first match back for Bobby Guns since he turned, obviously, at anniversary, he attacked Stephanie Mays. He's back to the King of Smoke style. Not quite got the old intro, the Rauchness Turtles, but Bobby Guns is to kill if that's not quite come back in yet. But what do you think of this, Mike? To me, it felt a bit exactly what you'd expect, but there's maybe a bit of work to be done as far as the crowd goes.
Yeah, well, I think Oberhausen is always a difficult crowd to win over. I think Oberhausen has always been a crowd which kind of does what it wants. I feel like maybe in other parts of Germany, this probably would have been the more clear-cut expected reaction, or the one they want probably more. I always think it can be a bit difficult in Oberhausen. But yeah, I think the issue with Guns is he was never, even when he was a heel, he was never that big of a heel because there was still, he was kind of too cool to be a heel. Even when he was sort of, chasing after Homicide and, Koji Kanemoto and Tim Thatcher, he was still cool enough and to justify, a bit of a, there's the whole lovable rogue idea. It's kind of what he was, and I feel that I think it will always be difficult for him to get past that. Maybe there is things to go, but from what I saw the Shotgun vlog, the promo he cut wasn't exactly a heel promo either, was it? It was very much a, come on, let's get going, we got more to go, and it was rallying the troops that he has, rather than.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of smart not going for full, I'm a bad guy, so I'm going to be despicable, because it's that whole, going back to the Vince Russo days, the shades of grey thing. Very rare do you get people who are very much, all the way one side or all the way the other extreme. And I think with Bobby Guns, they know because of that history, it's going to be the kind of thing where it's going to be very hard to go down that path and have him be the ultra bad guy. I mean, for crying out loud, he stuck a lit cigarette in Timmy Thatcher's eye years back and still got cheated by a section of the crowd. So, that you're never going to get that path short of him unaliving someone. A bit earlier in the show, get blocked on YouTube, go that way. But it's just that whole thing of, it's a clear change in character. I think, we had the only friends was, for some, was maybe a bit too, happy, smiley, happy-go-lucky for, compared to the old Bobby Guns. The fact that, and we'll get on this later on, he's in the Road to Carat qualifier tournament, That is one tournament he hasn't won, and there's a lot of people in that Carat field who are in the same kind of boat, and this is probably going to be the start of a move back up towards the top of the card, and it's going to be the kind of thing with Bobby where it's going to get super crowded very quickly at that part of the card, which was never a bad thing.
Yeah, I think they are kind of desperate for some real. I think they are desperate for some real sort of star power towards the top end of the card, and I think, that probably apart from the obvious two who no longer with wXw, it was Guns was probably the biggest name they had, really, at least domestically. So he does need to start heading towards that top level, even if he doesn't win the belt. With Dreisker sort of dropping down to the tag division for now, Guns probably is the right man to get in a challenge with, a Bloom or a Tihani when we get there.
Moving on to main show, they pissed away music budget before the first bell even went. Hardcore Schreier, Nick Schreier doing the hardcore gimmick against Levaniel. We got Enter Sandman for the second time in a matter of months. Don't tell James Hetfield, he'll be pissed. Levaniel came out with the European belt that he nicked off Mike D at Anniversary Show. A blue EU flag shirt, which will have certain Brits frothing at the mouth. Joins in 2025, lads. But obviously,
he's
we're
not
still
building.
LDN,
is he?
He'd be amazed to hear an LDN.
Yeah, probably would. Yeah,
wouldn't have to even do like the exaggerated German accent and the. Well, let's not go down the Elon Musk route, but all that kind of stuff which you would typically have the German heels do. But yeah, obviously we're building towards Levaniel Mike D. Mike D, I would guess, isn't going to be back till Carat. Looking the shows ahead, so wXw's excused him from Hamburg. Obviously not Bielefeld, so they did say he's going to take time off to rehab his knee. But yeah, as a match, I mean, when you've got one of the guys bleeding before he even sets foot in the ring, it's going to be intense, and it kind of lived up. And again, it's the whole thing we've said this with Levaniel. This is a match you had Nick Schreier do the whole I'm going to my alter ego, for want of a better word. But Levaniel's never going to be like the plunder guy, especially in this particular setting. And it felt like it was more, Nick Schreier digging deep to, hey, I don't trust myself, so I'm going to be, hardcore Nick, and that's going to work. And it didn't, rather than Levaniel, overcoming against the odds, which, I think, given the stories we've got in play, that's probably a better one you've got, rather than, they did the Nick Schreier trial series, which kind of worked when he came unstuck. I think the question now is, what does Nick Schreier do next? Because Levaniel's got a direction, but looking at the cards ahead, he's got the road to Carat in a couple of weeks, but Nick seems to be kind of like the odd one out for the moment.
Well, there's I mean, for Hamburg, obviously, which is coming up very shortly. There's people who aren't doing anything, and you just chuck him in with them, don't you? Really, I suppose. He is in the qualification tournament, isn't he? So
yeah, we don't know what the format is, but he's one of the names in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got that to come. So that's obviously something else you kind of would expect him to be in. So yeah, really, it's only one show that he's not on, I think, but he's Hardcore Schreier, or Nick Schreier, has proven probably one of the most important skills to have as a wXw wrestler is to be versatile and someone you can chuck in a bit randomly on a weekender. Which is, I think, the wrestlers that really, really do make it big in wXw are the ones that can do that. And obviously, Schreier is one of those who can do that. So, I wouldn't really have too many concerns beyond that.
Yeah, and again, it's playing the long game. I mean, we were doing like the the end of year awards, last month. It was one where we're looking like, okay, he had a big year, but he'd also been on the year or two, and it's that whole thing we don't want to push people to the top, because then, as we've seen in the past, once you're at the top, it's very rocky on the way back down. But yeah, the fact that, like I say, he has got the alter ego thing, and we'll touch on this later, the Extreme Wrestling Party's back this year. You'd think it's a shoo-in for that. Whether it's still with Metallica or the non-union equivalent, we'll see. But yeah, and obviously still keeping things on the back burner until Mike D's back. Speaking of injuries, we were meant to have had Anita Vaughan against Fast Time Mudo. Anita picked up an injury against Bobby Guns in Munster the night before, so she wasn't cleared. Had Mudo out. So basically, she came out, pretty much told the crowd, I want to wrestle, I love wrestling, but the doctors won't clear me. But hey, I'm in Carat, I've got that to look forward to. Mudo came out, because he's not in Carat. Very salty over that, as you'd expect. And I think when I saw the translations on the Shotgun vlog, it kind of got a bit... The Wogs aren't going to like that, boy, if you want to go down that path. But Yokai interrupted him. We had that match. And I don't say placeholder. I mean, Yokai looked good, but 6 minutes, Mudo's always going over.
Yeah.
Decent, but Yokai's one of those. They seem to like plugging in these spots where it's like, not throwaway match, but when it's hey, we need a body who is competent, and he absolutely is. I would like to see, maybe after Carat, or heck, maybe even like the Shotgun Bazaar we'll get to, of the Wheel of Wrestling stuff, maybe a bit more for folks, because again, if you put guys in and all they do is lose, it gets very hard to make anything out of them if you decide to go that way.
I think the problem with Yokai is he's got such a interesting sort of whole package, but nobody knows what it's about, and I feel that if he's going to be a sort of a semi-permanent member of the roster, he needs to just get 30 seconds on the Shotgun vlog where he's talking about himself.
Yeah,
talking about what he's aiming for, what his what he's aiming for, what his thoughts are on his training and things like that. And we don't know anything about him, do we? Really, ultimately, because he's not been on it at all, has he?
Not from where. I mean, if you watch, if you come in blind to this, all you've seen him as is he's done a couple of pre-show matches, but otherwise he's a face-painted guy. Yeah, face-painted guy who loves the Tengu mask, which is fine. It's a look that certainly stands out. But if he's going to be any kind of a regular, you need to get some meat on the bone. And what is Yokai? If you've been watching other German promotions, you kind of know he used to work under another name. Cedric Superior, I think, in Nova, but and there's that transition there. But not everybody watches Nova. And I think if you're expecting...
I would say 5% of the wXw audience is watching Nova, and I would probably say that's generous, and not as a knock towards Nova, but it's just that's what I suspect. He's not working GWF. He's not working Unlimited, is he? Oh, no, he might be working Unlimited, actually, now I think about it. But even then, yeah, I think he does, actually. Sorry, I think he does.
And Palavan Nima does as Madlavan, I believe. No, so he has done some Unlimited, but it's mostly Urawa, TAW over in Dresden, Maximum.
He's not working anywhere on paper, really, is he? So
no,
unless you're going to these local shows, which I don't think is a thing, really, for Oberhausen anyway.
You'll get some, but it's not that big a number. It's certainly not enough to the point where it's like, have you seen this Yokai fella? Obviously, I'm in German, of course. Have you seen this Yokai? And the fact that, like, for this, he wasn't advertised. He did, a match in Munster the day before. He did the Wheel of Wrestling in Borken just before Christmas. But again, these are all either non-advertised or smaller shows. And newsflash, all in defeat. I mean, I'm just on Cage Match now. And granted, he's not had that many wXw matches. But every single one of them has been a loss, apart from the one in Hamburg last year where we had Lavaniel running. So, and again, I'm not saying you judge someone on 5 undercard matches, but it's that whole thing. If he is going to be regular, you do need to put something on the bone, so it's not just, hey, look, he's a guy who stands out from the crowd.
Yeah, but it's a bit. It's a bit like when we used to obviously go to the Rev Pro shows during the boom, and you would get wrestlers who you could probably only describe as people who work Battle Pro. You know,
There's a reference.
but like, you know, not as a knock, but like, and there was the 15 people who would go to Battle Pro and Rev Pro Live at the Cockpit. It's the same audience who know Yokai and also go to the wXw shows. It doesn't mean anything to the vast majority of them.
Yeah. Anyway, we've spent a fair whack of time on Yokai. What do you think of Mudo? Because, obviously the KXS tag team's kind of gone on the back foot now. Or at least, you kind of expect that, because Axeman's in Carat, Mudo, he's also going for Carat office, but Mudo, and I know you said, beside you saying this, it feels like the KXS thing's kind of restored his mojo. Like, it was like those couple of years where, I raced him really strongly during the COVID years, then coming back, whatever happened, didn't have that connection to the crowd, good or bad, and it was kind of middling. It feels like coming out of the KXS run, he's back to his best from like 3-4 years back.
You rated him mad highly at a time when nobody else was watching it.
Yes.
So then everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" I think there is. I think he's probably in the best. He's the best he's been since COVID, really, hasn't he? He seems motivated. He seems to have worked out that there's something about him which is obviously not particularly likable, and he's learned how to lean into that, and that's good. I feel that's the good of a strength of anything. If you're self-aware to know to know the things which people don't like, then do more of that. I think he's really in a bit of a purple patch at the moment. There's still a lot of things which I'm not hugely fond of, but he's a lot better than he was a year ago. Definitely. So he's almost had the Axel effect. It seems to it's contagious.
And again, I don't know whether this was meant to be Mudo winning the title. I mean, the fact that they're still doing the match and not just scrapping it could well be the case. They haven't said where it's going to be, so maybe that, and we'll get onto the shotgun stuff later on. But yeah, that's the fact that they haven't said this match won't happen. They are going to do it tells me that something big was meant to happen here. What? Guess we'll see. But something big did happen in the next match. Youngblood, Oscar and Yuto Nakashima beating Dennis Dulnik and Hector Invictus to retain the tag titles. So this one was pretty short. Short than I was expecting, but the story of this was Cash and Hector, of course, of the anniversary show. Cash tried to do the low blow and cheat his way to victory. Try that again here. Hector didn't want any part of it. Ended up losing, and after the match, Dulnik slapped Hector, walked out on him, picked a bit more on the shotgun vlog. But Cash and Hector, for years, it had been Dennis Dulnik had been the aloof one who, happy-go-lucky. He would eat for wrestlers really badly. Turn up late. Be Hector who'd carry all the load. In the last few shotgun vlogs, and again, tiny details, he's been cleaned up his act. And that seems to have gone hand in hand with I want to win at all costs. Hector not really a fan of that. And tellingly from shotgun vlogs at least, they're not going straight to that match. But yeah, Cash and Hector very firmly out of the tag title picture. And not even a team now.
Yeah, a bit of trouble in paradise, I think, really, with them at the moment. Yeah. So, I think I feel like there's legs in Hector. Maybe I always thought there was legs in Hector just turning heel, but then in a way, I feel that there's also more that Dennis has been gassed up so much by maybe Hector carrying him a bit that he now thinks he's too good for Hector. In a way, it's kind of an interesting way of doing it if that is what they do.
Yeah, because we'd been kind of spitballing. Do they bring in Alani and do with young Jim Pump Guns?
That's the way to go for me. But yeah,
certainly we do that. We can, but I know that's, and again, from what I've seen, they've kind of been more, heels, but again, we've got a long way to go. I mean, first you've got to get past, Cash versus Hector. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was one where, we're doing the former champions finally get their shot. It did have, Youngblood kind of in the rearview mirror a little bit, but that's fine because they're the champions. They don't necessarily need to be front and center of every story in the tag division. Moving on, we did have a match between two people back from injury, Ahura against Igel Blanc, and we've been saying for a while, Ahura's been getting that under the radar, winning run over big names. This match was brought on an anniversary because Ahura got a bit pissed that Igel Blanc was just given a shot at Carat. And this was nearly Ahura becoming unstuck. So he's back. He had the surgery on his nose. He's wearing the cold-year-old's face mask. Got a fan to do the gadge thing of timing the match. And I don't know whether that was... And that, be fair, I would do the same as well. That poor fellow, trying to get his... do you want photo? Do you want the time? What do you want? Like, just the camera on and flipping through every single app on his phone until he finally got the timer app. It was like a bit...
Almost took as long as the match to get to the timer.
I mean, to be fair, I would do the same as well. But I guess the story of this was Ahura being so full of himself and being rusty, he was all over the place. Like, I looked sloppy, like he missed springboards. He was fiddling with his mask, his gear, and all that. The point where he nearly lost, ended up winning, but he did have to, muck around with Igel Blanc's mask. But I thought this was one where this wasn't a match to watch to, throw the star ratings at. This is one for the story. And the fact, spoiler, they're rematching, I believe it's in Bielefeld. I've got a feeling this one's going to end up being, at some point in Carat tournament match, just for the way they built the storied anniversary. We've had the match now, doing match 2. They do things in threes. Only makes sense. Maybe this is, I don't want to say Carat Night 1 main event, but certainly I can see this being somewhere in the Carat program.
Yeah, it seems like they want to do it again, and maybe when, assuming Ahura's nose gets fixed soon, that might.
He did have surgery before Christmas, so I think it was more just he came back too soon.
Yeah, he had the psycho mask on, didn't he? I think this was pretty decent. I liked the finish anyway. The whole point at the clock thing doesn't work when you have the longest match of the card so far.
Say for the Käfigschlacht, the longest match of it. Oh yeah, second longest. Yeah, the next one is going to be the longest after that. Yeah.
So doing the timer gimmick only works if you beat them in 3 minutes, in my opinion. But
at the same point, if he was so full of himself, he thought, well, Igel Blanc's still injured. I think I'm 100%, and then get to the point where it's like, oh crap, I'm actually not as good as I thought, not as healed as I thought. I think that's a bit what we're trying to get for. But yeah, whether we just this again in the rematch, we'll see. Is that the story that builds up to losing in 7 seconds in Carat? Maybe that's the way they go. Heck, we've seen that story before with people who we can't speak of anymore. But I mean, it was a good match for the story. In this one, where in a bubble you could say, "Here's the match." Obviously with the commentary to fill in the blanks, you get more out of it. Obviously, you've seen more, but perfectly fine. Bell to bell. Next up, and I'll put this is just not my cup of tea. Cara Noir beating Axel Tischer. I am really, really scared that this is going to be the go-around of Cara Noir we didn't get 5 years ago. Like, not if there's anything wrong with it, but these are the kind of wrestler I just do not gel with. Whether it's the over-performative stuff, if it's just something about it, and I can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't gel with me. It's not an act I want to see in my wrestling.
No, it's not an act I want to see in WXW either. I don't feel it matches. I don't feel it fits in with WXW at all. It always feels a bit, it just feels too hokey. Really, there's nothing real about it. The theatric stuff, like WXW has always been a company that has had elements of humor in its language, the language of the the matches have their own language, and there's always sometimes there is a little bit of humor in that, but I don't feel that the dramatic stuff that Cara Noir brings into it is in the same ballpark, really. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't feel there's no amplitude, no conduciveness between his matches and the rest of WXW.
Yeah, and I think with me as well is they had the run Carat 2020. Obviously, whatever they were going to do, they had to drop because COVID. But I don't know. To me, it just feels very. Like I say, it does not. It sticks out like a sore thumb in WXW, and yet it's it's a chance to have it's a chance for it to stand out. But at the same points, like he does connect the Oberhausen crowd. That's not something I'm ever going to dispute. But it is the kind of thing where it's like, you see him in WXW like since since we came back from COVID, and a lot of his matches have been against Axeman. We did the 3-match run, in 2022 before he got injured. As I fused to pull up the cage match to see who else he's had. He did obviously have the Catch Grand Prix stuff, but again, that was COVID, so let's rule that out. So with the crowd, Walter at 21st anniversary, then Carat quarterfinal, beating Heisenberg, whatever happened to him, then losing to Dreisker in the Carat 2022, then beating Dolnig night 3. Axel Tischer, 4 for 2 Canada ones. So really, his last 4 WXW matches in Germany against Axel Tischer. Now, to me, granted, is it Hector he's getting in Hamburg? Okay, that's going to be something different, how he's going to mesh there. But it's the whole thing of you've got this act. To me, it doesn't mesh with anybody else on the card. Like the Hector Cara Noir match, you're going to have Dennis Stolnik in some form, whether it's distraction or whether it's Hector's still processing and dealing with what have you. I do not see how Cara Noir fits in this 2025 WXW roster.
No,
it's everyone working around him rather than working together, and
it fits in even less in 2020, and I don't think it particularly fitted in that.
I mean, it kind of worked during the close set stuff, but even then, a lot of that was and again, I don't know what the mindset was. It felt like are things opening up? He went through to the losing finalist. Is that thing where okay, we bring it back up, and then they had him in against Marius when with the Blitz Tourney Catch Grand Prix show when things were starting to come back. And then Walton, then he got Cap, when he got injured. But yeah, just to I say it's to beat Labour point more. I don't know how he works out in this roster, and we're going to see against Hector, we're going to see during Carat, but I just don't think it's got legs or wings in this case. But changing the subject entirely, next we had the table elimination match, and thankfully nothing to be sent to Matthew for Botchamania here. So we had High Form Limited, Icarus and Anil Marek against Planet Gojira, Robert Dreisker and Mark Empire, and Big Bucks, Norman House, Alex Duke. And what do you think of Planet Gojira? It's the first time we've spoken about, so we've been on the pod since they debuted. Real ball from the blue balls too.
Yeah, obviously it was a little bit left field. I think they're a good pairing. WCW usually knows what we want, and very often what we want is we want Avalanche in a big tag team, and that was more of the same. I think it's a good pairing. It was mentioned by Philip on Domi on the last episode. He said effectively Dreisker is in the Volta role and Mark Empire is in the Dreisker role. So they've effectively rerun the outsiders really with this. That's what he feels like it is, and I think that's a pretty astute assessment of it. I think it was very good. One thing that did my head in about this match, and I screamed at this on the turn because I was talking with Toby, was Big Bucks come out because they came out first. They pick up these tables and they walk to the ring with the showing where it's obviously gigged. And I was just like, "Are you stupid?" Because you'll have to watch it. again, because Alex Dukes goes over, he picks up the table, and he basically carries it, and you can see where it's prepped. It's like, come on, there's a reason why they carry them a certain way when they come to the ring, and he picked it up the other way. So, did my absolute nut in there. I was fuming about that. But
this is the benefit of this, because these shows went up polished on wXw now early tonight. In fact, recording this, so let me got this on the background now. Run the stage, one arm aloft, vaguely mirrored pose, walk over to grab the table, pick it up, pop on its side, on its belly, stamp the legs down.
Well, no, it's when he picks it up first and brings it to the ring.
No, I'm picking it up now. Oh, God, yes!
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. You live and learn, lads. But yeah, as for the match, obvious start was everybody against Planet Gojira, so they ganged up on Dreisker and Empire 2-on-1. Big Bucks the first team out. Finish was Dreisker against his former tag partner Anil Marek, looking to superplex him through a table. Dreisker's other former tag team partner, by God, he's got a long list of X's. Icarus jumped up in the apron with chair shots, wafted him through. Basically, Dreisker fell backwards through the table, and it's High Performer Limited getting the tag title shot at Carat, which we'll get onto in a second. Planet Gojira obviously have something to say about that, but for the match, it was fine. Again, table matches, there's only so much you can do. Orc says, it's pretty good job that didn't get the Rise Against Rise tables, which did end up on Botchamania back in the day. No, Rise and JFK and Monster Consulting. Sorry, that was the three-way match where the tables just would not break and it ended up being farcical.
That was Rise, wasn't it? No, wasn't that the Rise Schadenfreude?
I swear I looked this up for someone. It was it's an open house in Toronto. I want to say it was Shortcut.
Yeah.
So me just
the problem is very, very close to it. There was also the Eddie Dennis Mandrews ladder match
at Wembley
at Wembley,
yes,
which was very similar.
So this was Shortcut Top 2018 freeway tables elimination for the tag titles. Monster Consulting against JFK and KF and Pete Bounce of Rise. God, that would be like 3 weeks before Wembley, 3 and a bit weeks before Wembley. Yeah. So, not a good month to be a table. Next, we had Maiko Satomura, her final match in Germany, beating Stephanie Mays. I will say, I know I saw you tweet something to this a bit earlier on. Very peculiar ground when it comes to music. Like, we didn't get Maiko Satomura's crappy WWE theme. We got the proper
we got
Rock Your Life Away, which the pop for that. If you're gonna bust out a theme, proper theme gets slapped. Retirement Tour is the time to do it. I know she's got Progress. Is it next month? So we'll see if they do the same thing. Probably not. It's a match again, fine, but I think it's kind of set for die. You've got Maiko doing her retirement tour, worldwide. I guess if it's going to be a big win, or the whole going out and putting someone over, giving her stamp of approval to someone will be in the last match. So in hindsight, was never a shot of Stephanie winning this. But yeah, and the problem was, to me, it was pretty much one-way traffic. Stephanie was in the match, but there wasn't that much involved where it was, it felt more of a match.
Satomura to wrestle, effectively.
Yeah. Which, again, that's on a CV, that's never going to change, but it's one of those things, maybe in another time, if this wasn't for retirement tour, it may be a bit more even, but it was a good send-off, and the fact they were able to mostly time the stream as well. Progress, we're watching you next. Just for that, anyway.
Well, no, At least, unlike Progress, nobody didn't snipe and do a show on Monday. But anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of hustle there, but anyways, so after that we had intermission because they need to set the cage up. Amazing GCW learned the hard way, this takes time. But so throughout the show they'd been dropping hints that Leah Bloom hadn't shown up yet. So we get the main event introduction, the video package. And it was a really good touch we played this again because the Vorwerk promo was pretty much saying, no, don't turn up, no, you waste your money, paying your fine should have spent on tattoos, don't turn up or it'll be the end of you. And with no Leah Bloom, to start with, it's like, oh, he's taking our advice. So, Vorwerk, crows about that. He's scared he's not turning up. And then, of course, lights go out. It's not Sabu. He's on the other show. New music and entrance for Leah Bloom with an entrance video where was it aftershave or was it denim he was selling? Because that really could have been like not Levi's, but like a really like a posh
Jean-Christophe
upmarket.
Yeah.
But yeah, new look for him. He's not got Jodie Fleischer's Progress music anymore, so very dark, very broody. As a match, I thought this was absolutely fantastic character work. Like we've seen from Tag Festival, the loose cannon stuff, and a lot of this was Tahani, really playing, hey, I was your friend, you're not really going to do this. And the finish, Tahani was really, Tahani at the end, so you had copious interference, you had High Perform Limited come out with Baby Allison and Icarus and Fennec, which was kind of surprised because Fennec wasn't on the show, but hey ho. And not High Perform Limited, Planet Gojira ran them off. They had a belt shot early on, but had Leah Bloom challenge Nick Schreier for the blood job, for the Muta Scale hit of the night. Towards the end, Vorwerk got involved because, of course, he did. Slid his cane in and thought, oh, it's going to be a walking stick shot. Nope. Unscrew the cane. And there's a bloody screwdriver in it.
Yeah. And to get that turned around on him as well, yeah.
Yeah, and did the whole swing. Was it the Kishenliger and Minoru Suzuki in New Japan back in the day? Swing and miss, and he ends up stabbing the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
And then finish came. Bloom got the spike. Tahani spat in his face. Oh, you're not going to use this on me. Then Bloom stopped and went to use it. Tahani didn't get picked up on the mic, but you could tell pretty much straight away, pretty much by how quick he shot himself. Tahani quit and got the hell out of Dodge. Leah Bloom wins. Of course, this was non-title. And of course, this means after match, Bloom issued the challenge. And there's your championship Saturday main event. Leah Bloom, Peach Tahani for the gold.
Yes. It was kind of mentioned. So obviously, this is now the Saturday main event but it goes from a complete blood feud match to we're just going to have a scheduled normal match.
Yeah, I do wonder if there's going to be something added to that.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
I don't think a full, a parade of nonsense we got with Guns and Norman a few years back. But yeah, it's almost I really don't want to use this as a derogatory thing, but it's kind of like WWE back when they were the absolute dirt worst. We have a big gimmick match and we blow it off with wrestling. You've got to add something to it just because of the fact that you've had. Now, I don't want to say make this first blood because they've already bled each, but I guess you've kind of got to do something, whether it's no DQ, whether it's High Perform Limited banned from ringside. The only thing I do get a little bit questionable of is with Bloom. Obviously, last year, we suspected Carat last year was going to be his big coming out party, and then he got injured. The concussion ruled him out for a weekend. Do you do the title change, old Carat? Is this too quick for him to be? Because bear in mind, over Tag Festival weekend, he has been the main guy programmed with heel Tahani. Is Bloom necessarily at the point where you can put a belt on him and it doesn't feel like, with all due respect to some that title run in hindsight was kind of placeholder stuff? Is Bloom the spot where you can put the belt on him and it's sustained? Or does he lose and then it's almost like a no-win situation because he has lost 2 title matches before. So you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't here.
Yeah, I think you are right. I think they're probably going to have to slightly add something to this. Although, the match is the feud is hot at least, or at least it is currently. It needs to stay hot. They've got well, I think previously we was always last year we were saying, oh, there's no shows in between here and Carat, and this year there's lots of shows, so they've got to keep that going, I suppose, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've as long as they just keep the heat up, and they've got to kind of keep let Bloom run through a few of the the Scrappy Doo members of High Performer Limited, and then there's more of a chance of it being a bit more spicy, should we say?
I mean, at least we're getting new names for top. I think that's one of the criticisms.
Exactly.
One of the criticisms I had of RevPro was on the Bad, and the Hungry Voice Wrestling last week. One of the criticisms I had of RevPro was their top title scene has been the same 2-3 names, on a loop. At least of this, it's the exact opposite. We question: is Bloom today ready for a world title reign? Maybe not. But the fact they've got Bielefeld, they've got Hamburg, we've got other shows in between that they do release. I have comments that if they were to do it, it could be pulled off. And we actually also now have the shows, so it's not just first show. What is the first show after Carat?
True Colours, isn't it? Well, there's usually the Revenge.
So after Carat, so we've got Bad Sacking in Dresden, Leipzig, and then Revenge in Frankfurt. So so we've got a few shows if they did want to do the 6-man tag, random 6-man like we did with Roman, we've got that in the house shows to get out the system. So if they were to have Bloom win the belt, you've got a few shows to do the undercard tag and then make the statement in Frankfurt. So I wouldn't be shocked if he left Oberhausen the belt in 6 weeks' time. Like,
yeah, there's a good chance of that.
We've done the steps. The fact for the tag festival, they did the whole, hey, we'll give you a shot, and it ended up being way too convincing look-alike for the quote unquote match, and then everything's built on from there. I mean, like I say, I would not be stunned if come Saturday morning Saturday night in March, Ilya Bloom leaves the belt, and a lot of people who don't keep with wXw watch on Triller and wXw now just wondering what the hell's happening. But that's for 6 weeks' time. Of course, we had the shotgun vlog went up yesterday as we record. A few bits and pieces. Cash and Hector, had a bit face off in the locker room afterwards. Cash, basically pissed that we do have done it for the team. You go and have your singles run. So he's convinced he's trying to do the right thing. So that's gonna probably come back around the autumn tag, the autumn festival, which we'll get to. Trouble in Paradise 5 from Limited. Icarus was talking about taking his tag title shot in Hamburg. Vorwerk didn't want Youngblood to have a home field advantage. He decided that's going to be at Carat, and the one little detail, which maybe it was an accident, maybe it wasn't, but when that camera's knocked down, it damn sure made focus a little bit on the Arrows Are Hungry tattoo Icarus has.
Yes, yeah, I noticed they panned towards that. Yeah, I was obviously hopefully I was just premature with my shout of Icarus being world champion.
Hey, who knows? I mean, we were saying last year there had been very commentaries throwing a lot of reference to everyone in High Performance Limited's had beef with each other. The fact that it's now, Vorwerk's very rattled, clearly with Bloom going after Tihani. If his gold younger doesn't have the gold anymore, that you can refuse. But the thing is, wXw in the very recent past has been a very big heel faction heavy group. Do you have that go in the background a bit and have Bloom run the show proverbially, not obviously booking the matches and all that, but you have him run the show without the big bad group in the background like we've had with Amboss and now with High Performer. Axeman and Fast Time Mood are doing the deadpan promos again. This one felt a bit like from the Absolute Anti playbook. Doing the long meandering stories. I love those KXS promos. I mean, and yes, I do need the subtitles to make sense of them, but it was very Statler and Waldorf, almost like Jack D back in the day. Just very deadpan, matter of fact. and it's the understated comedy thing, which I don't know if they're meant to be comic, but fuck, I find them funny. And then, that's kind of helping some of Axel, yeah. That whole kind of, I don't say
I think it's playing on the
anti-charisma.
whole. They're playing on the whole East Aussies being different.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're playing on, which worked really well. Obviously, there's a little bit of a meta. There's a little bit further. It's probably referencing something we just don't know. That's the problem. It's maybe something we need to ask some people about, but I'm sure it's a reference to something. But
God
I
beats
get the
something.
impression I'm getting the impression that it's just Aussies are different people.
Well, we'll go over there in a couple of weeks' time. We can find out. Then I guess the last bit, Igel Blanc starting to get a bit of an attitude. Who are your local wrestler? I'm an international star. But, I mean, who's kind of from the babyface side? Do you think, how would Igel Blanc's a heel work?
Well, he just looked like an arsehole, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm the international star, mate. You had 1-2 in all Japan. No, I'm not going to say the name, but I'm somebody else we can think of who had 1-2 in all Japan. Granted, Igel's worked out better for him, but A2 of all Japan and coming back with an all Japan hoodie ain't that much to shout about. And Mike D isn't the name we're thinking of.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's back to the roots. Say really strong show, getting a lot of bits set up. Carat. I mean, I said some good bad hungry last week. I think the wXw is really primed to have a really strong year. Obviously, 25th anniversary at the end of the year. We've done the hard yards. Now's where things I think are going to start paying off. And
Hopefully,
yeah, well, it's taken an almighty fumble, and hopefully that isn't something they have in their locker. But just a couple of bits before we move on to non-wXw stuff. Of course, they've been uploading a bunch of matches on wXw now. I think pretty much at this point, everything from the Leipzig, Dresden, and Limbach Oberfrona swing, that's up now. Some of the stuff came up, probably wasn't that good. Well, the elimination tag they had in Leipzig, I thought was absolutely fantastic. If only for the spot, and I've been watching the old 2015 shows, this happened. The Duval, heels antagonize a babyface. And this time, because we're in Ostdeutschland, Mudo and Tisha are the good guys. You've got Youngblood winding them up because we're in the build-up to that tag match. And Mudo's, furious. He screams, referee, "Fun secured, Geldstrafe towards fast time Mudo." And of course, that just winds up. Then 5, 10, 15 seconds later, a fan in the crowd has paid fast time Mudo's fine. Yay! And then, of course, we have to redo it again, but it's just that little thing in the right town, the right spot.
yeah,
that makes a good guy look $1 million. I mean, whether it's real or not, I hope it's not real, or it's plenty of drinks being poured that night, but that made that match stand out. And I think as well that had Zoltan from Hungary doing a few matches on that swing as well, again in Balkan. So they're clearly having an eye on him. Maybe one for the medium term, maybe, but definitely looking those. Obviously, the Munster matches they had big bucks against Palavan, Nima, and Yokai. Axel Tischer against Igel Blanc from there. The main one, I think, one we've definitely both seen, Bobby Guns against Nita Vaughn, shotgun title, time limit draw. I think this was one where if it had been on without a time limit, there would have been a title change. Just the way the match was certainly headed anyway.
Is this a part of it? Yeah, unfortunately, this was one I didn't quite get to, so...
Bobby Guns, Anita.
Oh, sorry, Bobby Guns, Anita. Sorry, yes, no, I did watch this one. Yes, I thought this was very good. I don't know whether. So the injury, it's the shoulder injury, is it then for Anita?
Knee.
Knee. Okay.
So
because she sold the shoulder really heavily, didn't she?
So I'm not a doctor, obviously, but from watching it back, was that spot where was the piggyback abdominal stretch. Her knee and body in general was contorted so wackily at that point. If it was the knee, that's where I would think that it would have to have gone, because just the way her body was, the way it was being twisted, that had been a point where it went. I mean, it wasn't, obviously wasn't bad enough that she finished the match, but you could tell after them. I think the task was the ref was checking on, everyone, okay, you can finish, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'd say it was one of those where Guns start the match wanting to do a grappling minutes. We saw it, did its job. Anita, why is he keeping the hell away from that? There was a lot of strikes, a lot of throws. Until, injury or not, the fact was able to, carry on with that and, finish the match. It's not what I would say even doing a rematch for, just because, Guns, the shotgun belt was his step up in 2018. Now, I don't think he needs to build back up from there again, but certainly was one of those, did more for Anita in draw / defeat. But yeah, very good match. It's up behind the paywall, unfortunately. But if you've got to wXw now, it's there. Mila Vella doing the commentary in German, but yeah, it's really, really worth your 15 minutes plus your entrances, what have you. So
yeah, definitely, that one is worth.
A pretty good highlight from Munster. And something else we've both watched. We spoke about this at Hockema Show. TV Total Promi Wrestling. Some complete out of left field, but we spoke about this, so and it ended up on YouTube. Was it ProSieben put pretty much everything up? Because maybe one segment they didn't, but it was all up on their YouTube channel, so there's no piracy. You don't have to sail the high seas of this. This was celebrity wrestling done right.
So just for full context, this isn't a wXw show, so it's a little bit of a departure from our usual thing. But yes, like you say, it was celebrity wrestling done right. TV Total, from what I understand, is effectively like this. It's sort of like a Saturday night sort of variety show, from what I can tell.
Chat show, late night comedy talk.
Games,
yes, I am reading Wikipedia.
So I believe they do a lot of things, like especially like they've done in the past. I don't know if you're aware of the walk toboggan thing. Are you aware of that?
I am not. No.
So it's a thing. If Domi was here, we could get him in, and he'd tell us all about walk toboggan. But it's effectively this thing where they take the Winter Olympics toboggan circuit, the luge circuit, and they ride down in a walk. And it's just all celebrities, and it's kind of like the silly sort of things, like Superstars, that sort of thing we maybe used to have back in the UK. But so this effectively was a four match card with basically wrestlers with celebrities, and being German celebrities, it means very little to us, really.
Yes, maybe one or two. If you've been to Germany, like Simon Gosiohan, I swear I've seen a post for him on the was it the Oberhausen, the Congress, the Central Congress, whatever it is, by the NH. I swear I've seen posters advertising him on that venue, walking back and forth.
Yes. So effectively, to kind of go through the celebrities, to do a basic thing. So we've got Rene Castelli, who was the shining star of the show, to be honest. He's effectively he's a circus performer. He basically is on the German equivalent of Strictly Come Dancing, I believe. He's one of the dancers, and he's also done things like Ninja Warrior. He completely understood wrestling. Like, if we were doing Rookie of the Year things, and he works more than just this one show, he's a prodigy.
He's a shoo-in. Yeah,
he's a prodigy. And I feel anybody remotely interested in pro wrestling needs to look at this guy, because he's fantastic. So we'll
he's only 28.
Yeah,
so I'm just looking on his Wikipedia. He's only 28. Founder and CEO of Kimber Elephant Park, as well as being a circus performer. So they say totally understood the assignments.
You had Fabian Hambuchen, who was against him in the other team. He was a German gymnast who got, I believe he got gold at Rio 2016 in gymnastics. Perfect for pro wrestling. You had Matthias Mester, who was a Paralympian. He's dwarfism. He lives with dwarfism. Paralympic javelin, I believe, javelin thrower. There was. Sorry, go on.
Yep. Category F40 throwing events. So
Yeah,
shot put is what he
Yeah.
won a silver in the 2008 Paralympics in Beijing.
yeah, and Simon Gauzian, who is a comedian. And then there was Evil Jared Hasselhoff, who's from the
Bloodhound Gang.
Bloodhound Gang. Very notable. He's probably the most famous of any of the, and that's only if you know about the Bloodhound Gang. And then also there was the host of TV Total, who is Sebastian Puff, who is effectively the Jonathan Ross.
Can we speak about his entrance, by the way? Because you shared a playlist before they did, before they stitched everything together, and it's like have the pant for crowd and the pyro and ballyhoo, and you get the Undertaker's music. Like, one, how the hell's that got past copyright, or someone's paid royalties? Complete for druids, for flaming sticks. And then all of a sudden the music just jump cuts, off comes the the black robe, and it's like, did somebody spike my coffee this morning? Am I on drugs? It's like just such a sharp change. Like, what the bloody hell am I in for here?
Well, I think the Undertaker music probably came for the fact that they advertised WWE on ProSieben multiple times throughout the show, so that's probably helped it.
Well, WWE is on ProSieben at the moment, before the Netflix stuff,
the professionals in the show. And there was also the professionals on the show. Peter Tahani was with René Caselli. Fabian Hamburgen was with Metihan, former
as a good guy. Smiley hand slapping Metahan was not what we're used to.
So that opening match was a bit of a high flying. It
would not be out of place on indie shows across Europe any weekend.
Exactly. If that was on a WXW weekend, though, you'd be like, "Oh, that was really decent. It was really good." You had Erkan Sulkani, so Cash Money Erkan, former Cash Money Erkan, and Matthias Mester, which was the Blutsbruder, which is effectively the same gimmick as it is in GWF, against the Frankensteiners, which was Gauzian, the Dwarf, and Axel Tischer. Kind of was a bit sort of thing.
You had another fellow under the ring and a mask. Who played like the Twin Magic too much and obviously played for laughs. This was probably the polar opposite of the first match.
I actually liked this one better.
I was probably more in awe of like how well the first one worked, like in terms of the flashiness. This one wasn't bad. Again, it's two complete different styles.
There were some interesting spots I thought in there. Yeah, for sure.
Is it worth? So obviously, had Erkan Sultani in as a blues, but outside, know nothing. This is me, spit bomb with other names to on here. Do you think Bad Bones would have been maybe?
I was about to say, I feel if this had happened a year or 2 years ago, Bad Bones would have been all over this.
Because nothing against Sultani.
Jazzy as well. Possibly Jazzy as well. I feel like she's someone else.
Nothing against Sultani on this. Like, again, I guess he's the de facto leader in GWF right now. It didn't look out of place, but it's very much...
Sultani is TV ready. He does act on TV. So, I mean, it does make sense in that sort of way. But yeah, I do agree. I think if this has happened 2 years, if this show had happened 2 years ago, Bad Bones would have been all over this. And it was one of the first thoughts I had sort of while watching it. It was like, yeah, this is where he would have been all over it.
I mean, I guess after that we had the whole backstage thing. So
yeah, this was the most gimmicked match, really, wasn't it?
So we did all these promos before the match, and it's like all played out on Instagram stores, but with Sebastian Puff being obviously main host, there's a lot of stuff where he's winding up Evil Jared on the TV Totals for main show he's on, but this all timed with the Bloodhound Gang doing a reunion, and we're doing all this back and forth, and then we see an attack on Sebastian, betraying all in their gear, all set up, brawling through into the TV Total set. There's a dive off one of the lads is thrown off of the I guess the entry stairway that all chat shows have onto a suspiciously not geared crate, but let's go with it. Sebastian Puffpath's injured, but then he's going to wrestle anyway on the day, so they have another brawl backstage on the day of the show. And what the hell was Big Nick doing as Kane? Like, that was the second, like, okay, the drugs, well, what the hell is this?
It was just never explained, was it?
No, and he came into the match as well.
Yeah, it very much felt like someone said, Kane parodies are in vogue now. Let's chuck that on as well.
Yeah. Yellow Kane's like, I mean, I'm colourblind. I originally thought it was Green Kane was a very cruel joke on Nick, but like Yellow Kane really like was it he speed him through a bloody portaloo? It's like what like I mean, this was I dare say Attitude Era just crystallised into two segments.
Yeah, well, it is the seventh Kane parody that I'm aware of.
Cocaine, Gain.
Blue Kane. I actually did a list of this the other day. Blue Kane, which is obviously memes, or Blue Pain. Gain, which was the rainbow one. Pink Kane in Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Yellow Kane in Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Gold Kane, Big Nick. Cocaine, which was the white one. And there was the other day in a promotion up north was Kane Dingle. Which was which was that was in a rumble somewhere up north. I don't understand know the details on that one, but yeah, there's lots of that's as far as I'm aware that's the seventh Kane gimmick we've had in the last 2 years. So maybe there's a Twitter thread on that.
It's like the Gremlins. Someone fed one of those buggers after midnight, and we're dealing with this all now.
Yeah.
But so as for the match, obviously Sebastian is injured, and this is where Evil Devils, Evil Jared, and Tony Harting, who at the time was the GWF champion, not when we said, which was a bit weird because the opener Tahani's the champion, they acknowledged him as champ, but then also acknowledged Tony as champion. Editing, what is it? But the other team is the total package of Pascal Spalter, who I guess another one of the big media stars who's done TV and movies, obviously GWF, and a worldwide star in Claudio Castagnoli, who had been advertised for this. But in terms of star power, this was the biggest match in terms of names. And again, exactly what he wanted. You did the table, you have the table spots. But yeah. Then, for final, it's a three-way elimination match. You had the Blue Spirit of Sultani and Matza Metzler, the High Flyers of Tahani and Rene Casali, and the total package of Claudio and Spalter. Yeah, I mean, as far as this was the kind of thing which we had celebrity wrestling over here on ITV and was basically just glorified gladiators with D'Lo Brown and Roddy Piper.
But we had celebrity wrestling. We also had World of Sport wrestling. This is kind of the medium point, but it did both better ultimately. I think this is the best casual / mainstream wrestling show that I've ever seen.
Yes,
to be honest. Compared with celebrity wrestling on WOS World of Sport, they absolutely nailed it. The presentation was absolutely nailed. It kind of had a 2015 NXT vibe, which was brilliant. The celebrities that they picked were naturally suited to it. The wrestlers they picked, I think, were the right ones. I think you could maybe delve a bit more and get some different people for the next ones. But I honestly, sincerely hope that they do more of this, because it's the second episode will be the difficult one, 100%. But I think there's a lot of legs in it. It was it was a blast of a watch. It's only it's about an hour and a half, I think, to watch it all put together, but it didn't feel like an hour and a half, and the matches were 15 to 20 minutes long. So yeah, it was a real treat, and I think 100% worth your time. I did do a playlist, which I assume you could probably put in the bio of the
Yeah, I'll do that, and of
in the
course, got a
notes. Yeah.
review back body drop as well with the individual matches. But yeah, we'll have spoilers in there, so we'll have that in the notes. Yeah, one thing I would say as well is they did gimmick it up. The Wrestling Total Federation, they had a tag
Yeah, the
title belt,
WTF.
so they have got the door wide open for a second show. So we'll keep an eye on that if everything does come of it. And
Peter
yeah,
did post about it the other day, didn't he, with that belt? So
yep. So who knows? Maybe it's going to be a Christmas stop. Head to head of Wrestle Kingdom every year. How about that?
yeah, definitely. Well, I watched it in Japan, so there we go.
A worldwide appeal. Anyways, a couple of news bits. Since the last show, Anita Vaughan announced for Carat. Got 3 spots for 16 left. There's one going to the Road to 16 Carat Gold tournament winner in Bielefeld next year, and then 2 more to be announced. Speaking of that Road to 16 Carat tournament, we've got names but no format. It's Baby Allison, Bobby Guns, Fast Time Mudo, Nick Schreier, Stephanie Mays, and Yuya Aoki. They'll be in the tournament. That to me would suggest maybe buys and then it's a run-of-the-mill four-person tournament, I guess, but we'll see what comes of that. We've got another name for Carat Weekend, Miyu Yamashita. It's her German debut. She's only going to be appearing on night 3. She's done a lot of dates new lately for Eve, plus a couple for the OTT and North, so interesting to see where they plug her in, bearing in mind there's no women's division or no women's title anymore, but yeah, see how that goes. Something else over Carat Weekend, they announced before, we now finally have details. The Shotgun Bonanza show they finally fleshed out. So it's basically a Mystery Vortex show, random wrestlers and random stipulations, but they're then merging this with the 1990s Survivor Series of winners of every match going to the finals. That'll be a, I guess, New Japan elimination match, pinfall submission, elimination over top rope. Last 2 standing go for the Shotgun title, which means poor Anita Vaughan gonna have a hell of a weekend if she's going as Shotgun champ. Because I don't think she's even guaranteed to be in the final. Like, I guess she's still got to win a match to get to the final, unless that's an extra wrinkle they add later on.
Yeah, I think the format is going to be one of the things. I don't 100% understand the format at this point. Even with it written down, I think I'm going to need to just see it play out more than anything else.
And hey, maybe we get Jake Steakhouse, the resident sheriff, to call the shots. That'd be a blast from the past for us. By the way, Carat merch is up. That's nothing, but they did have the obligatory "He's the cards" on the back. The European and World Tag Team title matches, they're there. Obviously, we suspect what the European title is. We know what the World Tag Team title is. Plus a World Unified title match, which I guess is just rebranding of the belt. Unified World Wrestling is maybe a bit too long. Nothing for the Shotgun belt, so maybe that's just going to be on the Bonanza, but we'll see. Other festival news announced over the past week. So during the Back to the Roots show, they aired a trailer for the Pro Wrestling Grand Prix. So we're getting Inner Circle, Extreme Wrestling Party, and Wheel of Wrestling. And then 3 tournaments across the same weekend. We're going to get the World Tag Team Tournament. That was last around in 2015 when Zach Daddy beat Red Dragon to win the wXw tag titles. Of course, it's been World Tag Team League and World Tag Team Festival since. We've also got Femme Fatale and a new tournament called the König der Catcher. Now, there's a piece on wrestling-infos.de which pretty much fleshed this out. So the König der Catcher is, I guess, a mini G1 tournament. It is like a tribute to Carsten Beck, since this will be about 5 years since his passing. 2 blocks of 4, so a bit similar to the 2014 World Triangle League, which Carsten won, except obviously fewer blocks. Winners of each block go into the final, and then you get the König der Catcher, hopefully with the crown. As for the shows themselves, of course, we've got the Inner Circle in Gelsenkirchen on the Thursday. They're doing the Extreme Wrestling Party again late on Friday night. There's a Wheel of Wrestling show on the Sunday afternoon. You've then got 4 Pro Wrestling Grand Prix shows, so there's no matinee on the Saturday. Like, we're not, marking this, hey, this is a, what used to be called the feature shows back when we used to mark the feature versus marquee stuff. So you've got, like I say, Inner Circle on the Thursday, Pro Wrestling Grand Prix Show 1 on the Friday evening, then Extreme Wrestling Party going into Saturday morning. Pro Wrestling Grand Prix Show 2 on the Saturday afternoon, then Show 3 going into Saturday night. Wheel of Wrestling on the Sunday afternoon, then Pro Wrestling Grand Prix Show 4 will have the final matches and a bit more on the Sunday evening. They're not saying, like, this show is where all Femme Fatale is going to be. Everything's going to be more or less spread across everything. They have said the Koenig to Catcher matches will be only on the evening shows. So yeah, basically they're doing away with this is Femme Fatales, and if people don't want to see that, if people want to see that nothing else, then that's the show they go to. Basically, if you want to see everything, you've got to buy tickets for everything, or you pick and choose what you do see. But the fact that they are marking out 3 tournament finals on that Sunday night show, it's a bold move. It's going to be a lot of wrestling, a lot of different formats. Personally, I'm just glad that they didn't do this under Catch Grand Prix rules, because that to me would have been maybe a step too far.
Yeah, I would have been looking at other things to do in October if that had been the case.
But so yeah, tickets about go on sale, I believe, next Friday, the 31st. And then I think what they've said is there'll be day tickets for instead of like some of the individual show tickets. So they'll be fleshed out as the time comes. But yeah, it's September the 26th, I believe it is. As I click back over to the website, we're looking at September 25th for Inner Circle, 26th, 27th, 28th of September in Oberhausen for the Pro Wrestling Grand Prix. So yeah, see how they flesh out, because you've got 3 tournaments. You can, you hope you're not going to have many people doing double duty, so you can be getting a lot of names. And my God, that cramped merch area in Turbine Hall 2 is going to be even more packed this September.
Yeah, it is confirmed for Turbine Hall 2, I assume.
They haven't said yet. I'm looking now. No, the event page to say Turbine Hall 2 with the pre-sale Vorverkauf on 31st. So if you're looking to jump in, you've got the dates. Tickets go on sale next Friday morning. Have at it. But a little bit closer to the current time, so we do have some shows. This coming Saturday, they're in Mendig for Lacazette Halle for Wheel of Wrestling Live, so it'll be taped, but it'll be drip fed onto wXw now. One called Manda starts his wXw portion of his European run. He's taking on Big Japan's Yuya Aoki. Ahura takes on Bobby Guns, and we've got Baby Allison against Stephanie Mays. They're the 3 matches announced so far. 2 weeks later in Bielefeld at the Sold Out Forum, so yet another sellout for Bielefeld. Good job, Seb. The Road 16 Carat Gold tournament, as we already said, plus Ahura Eigel Blanc, and Planta Kojira and Aaliyah Bloom against High Performer Limited. That is Joseph Fennick Jr., Paige Tahani, and Anil Marek. So, 2 matches, and you'd assume at least 3 or 4 for the Carat tournament. So, that's going to be a pretty hefty one. Assume that's going to be live as well. Then after that, 15th February, Wheel of Wrestling Live in Obertraubling, no card yet. And Dead End, February 22nd at the Markthal in Hamburg. Bit of a card here. Peach Tahani against Cara Noir, non-title. Aaliyah Bloom against Manders. Hector against Michael Oku. That's me screwing from earlier. It was Hector, Michael Oku. It was Cara Noir, Peach Tahani. That's what screwed up. Not going back to that. And Lawrence Roman against Yuya Aoki, and then we're into Carat season. So nice and stacked up, and unlike last year, plenty of cards to get business done, Mike.
Exactly, yeah. No, so some interesting little things on them next couple of shows. I'm looking forward to seeing Aoki get some reps in WXW, and maybe even qualify for 16 Carat. So,
and to pick from earlier, Kane Dingle was a True Grit Wrestling's Rumble earlier this month.
There we go.
Of course, it had to be up Yorkshire way, of course, Emmerdale. But Mike, whereabouts can we find us on the social medias these days?
You can find me on everything at Mike Kilby. I still use all of them. I'm terminally online.
Same here. Search me at Ian Wrestling on pretty much all the apps, website, Backbody Drop, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. And I guess that's it. Thanks for joining us, Mike. Yeah, say we'll probably have a few more podcasts. Obviously, we're going to have the Carat tournament, Bielefeld review, Dead End, of course, the obligatory Carat preview. So if it's the first time you listen to us, make sure you subscribe, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. All the back catalogues up there. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks for Fallout from Bielefeld. Cheers.
Cheers.